Good morning, Superkickin with Steven fans. Your favorite host right here, Steven and Greg fans right here. Steven A 1181, Greg rocking his Herbert jersey over there. Chargers got a big win last night, and they are rolling. Colts are rolling out of the playoffs. They're going to play the old veteran today, Greg. So we'll see how Joe Flacco does against the Giants. But a game I'm sure the world will be watching. I'm sure. No, not really. But we are here. We're going to go no frills, no bells and whistles. We are doing a best of WWE. We're just going to throw out the category, Greg, and then we'll give our pick for that. And we'll kind of call it a day. I got a friend I need to pick up around noon, so we might be on a tight schedule today. But that's how the holiday season goes. You're kind of in and out of things throughout the week. I'm glad you gave us the time today. I am not sounding great, but I'll do my best. And we will get to it. But big win for your Chargers last night. They kind of came at the end, right, Greg, to pull it out?
No, you think that was a different game you're watching.
Oh, that was the Denver and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
sorry.
we came in and blew New England out of their own building.
Okay. You got New England. Never mind.
40-7.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That was a beautiful beatdown, and it's what I expected. They knew coming in that if they win this game, they're in the playoffs.
Mhm.
No help, no if-win scenarios, and handle your own business. And what better gift to have than a 3-win New England team on the docket, even if that means flying from west to east and playing in the AM time slot, pretty much. But they went over there and they threw them up. They bullied New England, and it was beautiful to watch because they're usually the bullies for 20 years during the Brady era. So it was good seeing some payback getting handed out, and it's official 40-7 beatdown in the playoffs. So at least
Yep.
the 6th seed, and we need some things to happen. We can still use your Colts winning to knock down. I think the the Steelers or in getting into the 5 seed. So we end up playing Houston, which I think everybody wants that slot. And we're off and running now. Harbaugh's come in and in one season turned them around. They had 5 wins last year. They got 10 wins today. So 100% win above replacement for Mr. Harbaugh, and I think all of us expected that. But it's great to see it actually happen. And now we get to finish the season with the Raiders, who also suck, but it never gets old watching them beat down the Raiders. So going to the playoffs on what would be a 3-game win streak, they take care of business with the Raiders, and now you're rolling into the playoffs. So I'm excited. I'm here for it. Let's get Justin some wins, so get the haters off his back.
Yeah. I forget what all the different scenarios for my Colts are. It's very I think win out, have this team lose, have this team lose, have this team win, have this. Yeah, it is what it is. But I was just looking right now. Yeah, so we have pretty much the Dolphins, Colts, and Bengals, Broncos, who have not. They're kind of vying for that 7-8 seed. Everybody else in the AFC is already eliminated. Your Chargers clinched, Steelers clinched, Texans have already clinched the division, Ravens have clinched, Bills have already clinched the division, and of course the Chiefs, 15-1, have clinched everything. So
worst 15-1
ever. It looks like the NFC. Yeah, 15-1 is still 15-1. We can't. That is, kind of like you said, they've gotten lucky on a few calls. But anyway, so we are here to talk of what a year it's been for WWE. I guess you could say the word record breaking quite a few times, and gates and revenue and just internet posts or social media numbers. what a year it's been. We finally had Cody breakthrough. Finally had Jay breakthrough. Roman went from the biggest heel to one of the biggest faces, and without even being on TV. CM Punk is rolling. Drew McIntyre has done some of the best work of his career. The emergence of Braun Breaker. Damian Priest put up his name as a main eventer for a little bit of time. Gunther got his coming out party, Greg, quite a few times, especially at SummerSlam, beating beating Damian Priest. The women's side of things, Liv and Rhea. Is that pretty much what we? Yeah. That's pretty much the women's side of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think now that all the women are kind of back, hopefully they're rolling. Tag teams, DIY go from face to heel. We're still going to see if they're the ones who attacked the Street Profits, even though somebody threw Los Garza's brothers under the bus the other day. The Kit and Prince threw them under the bus. The Pretty Deadly did. But I think all will come out that it was all about Gargano and Ciampa doing that. So NXT, the year of Roxanne. I mean, she just rolled through that division, Greg. And now we got the international flavor coming after her in Stephanie Vakir. You got Julia. You got Zaraya coming after her. So some international women after her. Nathan Frazier and Axiom still a tag team. We keep waiting for that breakup. The end of Chase U. It was quite the year, but you brought up a good one, Greg. Let's start with, you said best announcer. Is that what you?
Yeah.
Best announcer, correct? Commentator. Is Samantha Irvin still part of that?
If you wanted to be, absolutely. I will put announcers and commentators into the mix. And
at first I was very skeptical of Mr. Pat McAfee, Greg, but man, he adds a lot to it. And the fact that he can crack up Michael Cole is awesome. And I think it's also re-energized Michael Cole. And, the fact that I think they have Pat or Paul, Triple H kind of letting them do their thing. I don't think you get the pressure of Vince McMahon yelling in your ear, which is kind of what ruined Renee on commentary back in the day, and even ruined Mick Foley back in the day. I think Mick Foley could have been. So I will give Pat McAfee it, Greg. But the breakthrough of Wade Barrett has been something that I did not. Yes, Wade Barrett can talk on the mic, but kind of seeing him in this different light, I think has really turned his career around too, Greg. Because I did not foresee Wade Barrett being a name on TV every week. So, and then even giving Joe Tessitore, a big shout out. He's come a long way. Those first couple weeks, even he kind of admitted, it's got to be hard. You're throwing them to the deep water. It's not like you could practice. I guess you could do some announcing, backstage somewhere, Greg. But when the lights turn on, it's all about what you have to say. So, but I will give it to Pat McAfee with, like I said, a Wade Barrett. But there is no doubt Samantha Irwin, does deserve all the credit for what she could do as a announcer, which is hasn't really happened since the days of Howard Finkel and Lillian. I mean, Lillian kind of gave those big time. And now you had her go off to bigger pastures, which we haven't seen any of that yet, Greg. So I'll be curious to see what those bigger pastures are. But yeah, Pat McAfee is my best commentator of the year, Greg.
And that's a great choice. Pat is near the top of my list too. I love Pat McAfee. I watch the Pat McAfee show. Mm-hmm. Maybe not daily, but at least a few times a week. I
skip when Aaron Rodgers is on there.
There you go. No. He gets the who's who on it, and he gets a lot of the wrestlers to go on and do sit downs. The ones he had with Brock Lesnar and Triple H, and even Vince have been already iconic interviews. So, he does an amazing job at what he does. And informative and it's entertaining, which is what you want from your announcer.
Yep.
Um, Definitely Samantha. I'm gonna miss Samantha. She brought her own flavor to it, and her announcing was on point, and she got pretty famous just for her reactions to stuff because it was very obvious that she didn't know what was going to happen
Yeah.
before she saw it, and that genuine reaction is the reactions that we're all having sitting in the stands watching it for ourselves. So we love seeing that reflected from a paid personnel, and I'm just convinced that she's like, I don't want to know. Don't tell me. I'm going to enjoy this as a fan, even though this is how I get paid. So, love Samantha. Going to miss Samantha, and I wish her all the best, and hope one day that she comes back once she finishes, fulfilling dreams elsewhere.
Mhm.
So, shout out to Samantha. Uh, And you're right about Wade too. When I saw he was added to the announce team, I was like, okay. I've never been a huge Wade Barrett fan, and okay with him. I like his matches, and the bad news Barrett bit was an awesome character retread for a while.
Mhm.
The scissor lift, all that. Um, so I dug him for a while, and he's been hit or miss with me. But since he took the desk with on NXT, or sorry, on SmackDown.
Well, he did start
SmackDown,
it. Remember, he did start in NXT.
he did, and then he went up to the main roster, and
By the
he's
way,
been.
worst commentator is Booker T. Sorry.
Oh wait, come on, man.
Booker. Anyways,
Hey, that's my pick. I'm taking Booker T.
you're gonna take
Booker
Booker as the best.
Booker T gets you hyped up, man. I mean,
Uh,
he
yeah.
does such a great job getting guys
Uh
over.
huh.
Come,
What?
yeah, I
Uh
like it. Oh yeah, man.
huh.
Oh yeah, man. uh, when Trent comes out, I mean, come on, that's you're waiting for it. You kind of disappointed when you don't hear it. Oh, maybe you don't, but you get the condition for it now. Even Trick is doing it when he comes out.
Yeah.
Um, and he puts over Roxanne and the way he goes, and uh, he is definitely shilling for his favorites, and then the ones that he's not a fan. He's over the top of them. His just his style is grown on me. And it's fun. It's hard to if he's not on an NXT program, it takes something away from me, and that's kind of how I measured it.
Mhm.
Um, Zim, Braun, and Oba. No bread, no water, just meat. I love that line. I don't know where it came from, but it's awesome. Um, and then it just adds to the overall, the banter he has with Vic too. So shout out to Vic. The
Mhm.
banter those two have back and forth, and it sounds like they're about to get in a fight themselves over the talent and what's going on in the match. It's just a whole other sideshow that I get hooked into. So um, mine's going to Booker T, and just I would pick Pat McAfee, but he's gone for a big fraction of the year.
Mhm.
So he's not there every day, and we enjoy it while he's there, and then he's gone for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I
And
didn't
that,
take
yeah.
Pat over Booker.
Hmm.
So
I'm willing
Booker's
to, and I
there,
can give
week
you
in,
that.
week out. Huh?
And I will give you the Vic Joseph and Booker T definitely have good chemistry. Like you
Yeah.
could tell they've really enjoyed it together. So, um, yeah. How about best match of the year? You have a
Yeah. So it was I was going back and forth, but um I think Hell in a Cell is it for me. Drew and CM Punk. That was like I put it up before. It was an AEW match in a WWE ring.
yeah.
Just the violence, the brutality, and they're still talking about how brutal that match was. In his last promo came out, he's like, "I almost broke my back on those ring steps."
Yep.
what do you need? 16 staples in his head after Punk smashed that toolbox into his face.
Mhm.
Um, and just, they're still suffering from that match. Even though they've, Punk's been in war games and came out, smelling like a rose, it was nothing compared to that Hell in a Cell match. And that was so much fun. It was violent, it was brutal, but they told the story too, with the wristband and uh, all that animosity finally exploding like a volcano. That was the best match of the year for me. So I got to go with that one.
And that was the one I kept going back to, and we can go like the Cody versus Roman, the spectacle it became, Greg. That one I have to throw out too. Cody versus AJ in France. I
Oh,
think I'm
yep.
going to go with a notch over. Just since you picked Drew and CM Punk, I will give you that one. Let's give me Cody and AJ because you had the crowd was in. I mean, the crowd made that match because
Yeah.
they delivered some stuff that we haven't seen in a little bit. So I will go that one. Cody versus AJ, um, just because there was just something to it. It just really worked, and it just sucks because AJ got hurt, came back and got hurt again. Like
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
hope because we can tell he's at the end. Like he needs to finish it right, as they always say. So,
Yeah.
um, any women's side of thing, I was kind of thinking about women's matches. I'm looking on list, and people are going to Bailey and Io Sky at WrestleMania.
Hmm.
And I really can't think of any other. It didn't,
Yeah,
it was a tough year for the women.
it
I feel like they were
was.
very up and down, and like we said, I think there was so much emphasis on Liv and Rhea throughout the year. Match wise, I don't know if there's anything that really sticks out of my mind this year.
Yeah. I was trying to think of Becky's last matches. Um,
Yeah,
but
because
one,
was she the NXT Women's Champion at the beginning of the year? Right, Becky was.
yeah,
That was her and Tiffany stuff. So, but yeah.
that's true. That's
How
right.
about breakthrough star? I think Jacob Fatu. You think Braun Breaker? I'm going to go Jay for winning the IC title and finally getting that singles one, Greg.
Hmm.
Um, and even Liv. I mean, Liv finally came through to where I thought she should be at. I mean, I still think you think where Liv started. I mean, if you look at some of her people posting one of her first promos from like NXT days, and man, she was all Jersey girl, Greg, and and then to think, where she was with Riot Squad. I mean, nobody thought she'd be the kind of a lone survivor of that group, right? I mean, we were all in on Ruby, and now
Yeah.
Ruby's a mom at home, and Sarah Logan's being a mom at home. So now it's like Liv is like, okay, I'm going to show you what I can do. I mean, it's probably hard to argue Rhea really blew up. I mean, she took her
True.
game to another level, but I'm going to go Jay Uso just because like I said, that I mean, he really delivered on all even as everybody kept saying he's never going to win the IC title, and then he finally wins it on a Raw against Braun and gets that moment and, gets it for a month or month and a half and then keeps rolling. Is still popular and still one of the top merch sellers. So I'm going to go
Hmm.
Jay Uso with a close second to Jacob because Jake and, just the fact that Jacob Fatu sold the hell out of that
Yeah.
injury. And then, and the stare down between him and Braun Strowman. I mean, people were like chomping at the bit for that on Friday night. But then
Yep.
him and Braun Breaker, give me Braun Breaker, Jacob Fatu at some point, just because I want to see what they can do. So the sky is the limit for those two next year. This time next year, I
Hmm.
mean, we might be talking top superstars for those two guys by
Oh yeah.
next year. So, any breakout superstar in your mind, Greg?
Yeah. I was thinking of all those guys. I was thinking of Braun, and he is almost my pick. So
Okay.
that's my clue. He's almost. Um, and they've done him perfectly since he come up from NXT. He's been slowly building and building, and he's getting better and better and better. And the people are getting into it. The dogs are barking, and he's still staying the heel, and he's still staying, the 100% badass. But he's, getting a bigger and bigger following every week,
You can
and his
turn him either
matches.
way, like at any time. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, he's ready to explode. I think it's
Mhm.
going to happen next year for sure. So he's on the cusp for sure. Um, I was looking at Gunther as a breakout because we knew how
Yeah,
awesome he was, but
but he really
you
got to
know,
show off.
yeah, he really started to bring the bangers, and he's got a huge following now. But my pick, and shout out to Jacob Fatu too, because the guy's amazing, and we didn't know what he looked like until they brought him into the bloodline angle. So I'm excited to see what he's gonna do, and we those moments, staring at Braun Strowman and having the crowd get that. Oh, here we go. And of course, great tease.
Yeah.
Don't give it away for free yet. So, great work right there. Just give us a little taste, give us a little screenshot of what that looks like,
Mhm.
and we'll get back to that later. Same thing with Braun Breaker and Jacob.
Yeah,
So
they had that
Jacob versus
small
everybody is going to be
versus the
amazing next
world.
year. But
His
my
his Royal
official,
Rumble, him in the Royal Rumble should be interesting if they put him in there. What
yeah,
kind of how they'll let him play out. But sorry.
exactly. But my official pick for breakout of the year is Solo Sokoa
Yeah,
because he may. I don't know if he started the year with the Ulafala or
he
it
did it.
happened after the beginning of the year
It happened after Roman left or after Roman lost. Remember, because he wanted to
after
take it.
WrestleMania. Okay,
Yeah.
so but yeah, since he took that Ulafala and he took the reins, he's really blossomed and become that monster heel, that bad guy we want to see vanquish. And every month he's got better, a hundredfold, and he's more believable now than he was at the beginning of the year. And now when he stands there and he's holding that mic, he commands that attention, and we're in on. We buy in 100%, and he's done such a great job with his character and knowing the assignment, understanding the assignment, and I think he's had um, the biggest climb up the mountain, and he's done the most uh, overall.
Well,
Character
especially since he
wise in the
started
ring.
as
Uh,
no non-talking, just
yeah,
in the background. I almost feel like it's like the Rock rise to nation domination, where they were kind of holding him back, waiting for that moment, and then boom, you unleash him, and now we see where we're at. So
right. I mean, he's going from mid card star to top guy, main event, and he's shown mastery of controlling the bloodline and showing that he's the man, he's the alpha.
mhm.
And like I said, with any faction, you want to have the alpha. The OG. That's my only problem with the OG bloodline is that now we're all equal partners in this. It's like, no, that's not quite how it works. This is how it should work. And you look at Solo's faction. So, and he's done it. He's elevated himself to the top guy. So, I think Solo is the breakout of this year.
Yeah, and then we'll see where he's at with Roman come January 6th.
That's
Uh,
right.
Netflix, uh, which I think they're saying CM Punk and Seth Rollins is going to main event that night, Greg. So should be interested to see if we'll open with Roman and Solo.
Right.
Kind of book in the night and see where things go with that. But not that's actually not a bad pick by you at all. I mean, Solo, like I said, to start where he started, even in the commercial where he doesn't even talk. Remember they were doing those
Yep.
uh, the kind of Godfather commercials, and I think he said maybe 2 words at once. Uh, to have the mic skills that he did, because he's getting more comfortable, with it. So, and that's
Yeah.
just going to carry him further. But uh, it should be an interesting year to see him for next year. All these guys, that we're talking like, really, 2025 is going to be quite the. We're going to have to push a lot of guys, as they say, and
Yeah.
who's to say where we push. You got a category. Let's see. So we did best tag team. You got a best tag team. I feel like it's an up and down year for tag teams too. I mean, I want to give to DIY just because, like I said, to start where they did, they've always kind of been there, Greg, but they finally got their moment as faces,
Hmm.
and now I feel like as heels we're going to see it. And I mean, you still got to throw New Day out there, don't you? Because we still don't know where this New Day bad guy thing is going because they
Hmm.
can't get a word out. But I feel like there's going to be something there as they keep going with it. And then, NXT thing, I mean, Nathan Frazier and Axiom keep winning. I mean, they've kind of carried that NXT tag team division on their shoulders. Yeah, you had Chase U win it for a short time. You had the family, Tony D'Angelo's family win it for a little bit. I'm trying to think of who else won it. Did Baron and Braun no, they won the Baron Corbin and Braun won the
The NXT.
yeah, the
Yes,
little
yes.
tournament thing, and then
Yeah.
they lost. So, uh, and Baron's gone now. So Barry was seen backstage yesterday at World's End, Greg. So we'll see if if Baron Corbin could do something in AEW if that happens. But uh, tag team wise, a little bit to be desired about.
Yeah, it's been a down year for tag teams. I mean, there hasn't been much.
They've tried though. I mean, they've given them some spotlights in um, main events of Monday Night Raw. Technically, we did have a big tag team event at WrestleMania. So, it's not like we're trying. And then we also had the tag team of Cody and Roman. But, for the heart, the usual tag teams, Greg, like match wise, it felt like there's nothing that I'm like, oh, yeah, this tag team match. Uh, but I'm going to go DIY. I mean, I probably just have too much of a soft spot for them right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think next year is going to be a year for tag teams because now we're getting everybody cooking. We're getting, DIY. Machine Guns just got here. Uh, they're changing the Street Profits presentation. Um, but everybody else, it seems like it's been two singles wrestlers thrown together and put into matches
Yeah.
to to forward singles storylines. And unless you're looking at the factions, there are no true dedicated two-man tag team um, that are getting much run.
Mhm.
Um, so I was kind of looking at factions as tag teams and looking at the Wyatt Six because
Mhm.
they always seem to be involved in. There aren't many solo matches with those guys.
Yeah.
There's always either two, three, four-person matches. Um, but if I had to just choose a two-man team, um, I'm going to be with you and choose DIY just because I like how they, rose to get the titles back. And the match where they did the heel turn was masterfully done.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they carry it forward into next year. Um, and Machine Guns, I love Machine Guns, but like I said, just got here, had a cup of coffee, won the title for a few minutes, and their time is coming next year, and I'm super excited to see how evil New Day is going to be.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen New Day as bad guys since they started. They began with New Day sucks, and then they became a thing.
Mhm.
Um, and they exploded as good guys, and they've been good guys for probably 9 3/4 of the 10 years that they've been together. But
kind of feel like they're
That,
going to do that smarky win by any means, but not necessarily, not like Wyatt Six carrying Cross's group type. That that
yeah,
just we're going to win whatever way we need to. So,
yeah.
but I mean they might get another tag team run out of the title sooner rather than later. Just the way Raw is run. Because we just had Judgment Day lose it to who did they just lose to? Oh my gosh, my brain.
War Raiders.
Yep. So we have War Raiders carrying it with Damian. Now they kind of got Damian Priest as a as a trio right now. To try to let we got to get done with Judgment Day and Damian Priest, Greg.
Yes.
But anyways, that's what we really and just like Liv and Rhea are going to wrestle. Is it Last Woman Standing on Netflix? I think. And I
Um,
not maybe, but maybe I'm dreaming that. But anyways, that has
I
to be
wonder if there's
done.
a stipulation on it.
That has to be done come Monday too. Like finish all that business, start
Yeah.
fresh heading to Royal Rumble. But
Yeah, but that's
yeah,
another team into the dedicated tag team into the mix with the War Raiders.
yeah,
So you got War Raiders, DIY, Street Profits, the um, New Day. So that's more dedicated tag teams than we've had to deal with than we've dealt with all year. I guess you can throw Pretty Deadly in the mix that they actually do anything with them.
mhm.
But otherwise, other than factions, there's been much concentration on just two
Just
man
a legit.
teams.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But it's looking
Well,
good for next year with just those five
and
as a
people getting
base.
healthy. Because I mean, you got to give War Raiders credit. Both guys were on the shelf, Craig.
Yeah,
And both guys thought it was the end. So hopefully they're all good to go. The Good Brothers, I forgot Gallows. I mean Anderson, he went under the knife, so he's out for the time being. So yeah, hopefully next year. But I think Motor City Machine Guns. I think I think we're going to see some classics out of them next year. I think the Street Profits, if they get a renewed direction, which it's looking like they're going to start doing,
yeah.
them and the Garzas, they put on a pretty banger of a match at SmackDown just in a quick TV match, Greg. So the tag teams are there. We just got to finally get that. I feel like it's been so top heavy with superstars. Now
Hmm.
we got to filter down, find, get the women in a good direction, with some good matches and get tag team direction. So it is a very, but, like I said, it's just so top heavy right now, which is, I think, where we should go next. Who, Greg, is your best women's wrestler of the year? Are you going with my girl?
You know, I can't believe I'm saying this. You know how I felt about your girl for
Yes, do it.
most of the
Pull the
year,
trigger.
but
Give it to me. Watch me.
but
Watch me.
it's got to be Liv. I can't believe I'm saying it. It's got to be Liv Morgan. Just she's gone from being my bathroom break match at the beginning of the year to getting injured, coming back, setting off the revenge tour, and then the whole business with Rhea and Dominic. Um, and then her matches just got 10 times better. Her psychology got 10 times better. Her mic work, everything across the board was just fire. And I can't not give her credit for it. She has worked hard and she's grinded and she's just been so great character wise. Where's this been the however many
Yeah,
years she's been here? That's
I think they
been
just never give her the ball. It's,
I,
I mean, and I feel like it's her personality, just, like they said, 100%, exaggerated. I feel like,
yeah.
she's got that Jersey girl in her, Greg, and that's, I don't feel like there's not much, there's not a big off switch for her anymore, which is
Uh-huh.
such a, that's how The Rock is, that's how Stone Cold is. I mean, John Cena, all these big people, which I hope people aren't thinking I'm putting her in that vein, Greg, but I'm just saying
Yeah,
the
yeah,
best characters. Like, I can see Braun Breaker being a badass in real life,
yeah.
so, I
But
mean,
this
Rhea
isn't
Rip,
Liv's first run as with a title
that's true.
or anything like that. But this time,
They finally
she makes
found
you
it.
feel,
Yeah.
and she's done a great job of making you feel, and that's where she got me. When she's doing those promos and she's being her best heel self. I'm feeling it, and her, like I said, the matches deliver, and she's just done a whole makeover of her character and just brought everything out of the box and turned her volume all the way up to 13. And so, now she's not my bathroom break anymore. I'm locked in when Liv's on screen, and I have to say it, I'm enjoying it. That's your girl. I'm giving her the props, even over Rhea and everybody else we saw this year.
Well, you think, I mean, and um, without the emphasis of horsewomen, I think that's really what's pushed all these other women, Greg. To just think Bailey's really the only one that stayed on screen throughout the year.
Yeah.
Becky had, went away for a little bit. Charlotte has been on the mend.
Hmm.
I think we're seeing her at WrestleMania. I mean, at Royal Rumble or sooner. Maybe she could show up. I mean, how's Netflix not chomping at the bit trying to get Charlotte on there? But it looks like
Hmm.
Becky, oh man, just went through my puberty stage again. Peter
Yeah.
Brady just showed up. Awesome. So clip that one. But yeah, I think Becky will be on come Monday night. She was in the um, Drew McIntyre, by the way. Greg cut a great promo. Watching the trailer, he's like, even Becky Lynch is in the trailer, and I'm not. So might need to hear Drew's name here in a minute as well. But Liv Morgan deserves all the flowers, as you say, because I think she just turned it on, and I think Roxanne for carrying
Yeah.
NXT.
Mhm.
I think Roxanne deserves a lot of love, but live, man, it has just been a year for her. So
Yeah.
I'll give to Liv, and like I said, Roxanne as well. 1A, 1B, and then Rhea. I mean, Rhea's still carrying her load. I don't know why the hell we haven't got her and Dom one on one in the match, Greg. Just give the people what they want. But
Right.
so yeah, I think it's been the Live show. So how about men's wrestler of the year? There's quite a few choices you could go, Greg.
Yep.
I will let you go first, and then I'll go, and we'll kind of wrap up the show.
Yep. For this one, there's been one name at the top of the list, and I was going through the rest of the roster to see who else I want to consider.
Mhm.
Um, Roman was Roman, but I put a big emphasis on consistency
Yeah.
and being there week in, week out, delivering uh, the whole year. I know injuries are what injuries are, and we may be gone for weeks or whatever, but overall,
Hmm.
um, just being a standout throughout the whole year. Um, I was looking at Gunther.
Hmm.
Gunther brought it on every level, and he's getting better and better. And I'm enjoying that. The fans are getting behind him because he's one of those guys where you look at him and he's not bursting with charisma,
Yeah.
but it's understated. And like those promos he had with Damian Priest, where he's just the things he says they hit.
Hmm.
And he's not saying much, but what he says, it kicks you in the gut,
Yeah.
and that takes talent. So Gunther was in the consideration. Of course, looking at Roman and that whole story, but he disappeared for a good long while after WrestleMania.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm sure part of that storyline lies too, but took that in consideration. Cody, of course, is a front runner. Um, did great things, but my deal with him is that he's just the All-American guy, and that's pretty much it. I mean, right now he's got a little fire in his gut with what's happened with Kevin Owens,
Mhm.
but he's just been there, light handing with everybody, and being the poster boy. There hasn't been much to him,
Mhm.
so that took him down a few notches for me. So this year was about Drew McIntyre and just how well he took everything from last year to beginning of this year all the way to right now. Um, he did everything. He turned up his social media presence. He um, he went to heel, and like we discussed before, the reasons he did it when he came out and he did his cut his promos on why I'm a bad guy now,
Mhm.
it made sense because everything that he talked about, we saw it happen.
Yeah.
We saw him get screwed at Clash at the Castle. We saw him get screwed at WrestleMania. We saw him get screwed, by CM Punk 3 times over. And
Mhm.
I'd be mad too if all that stuff happened to me. So it makes perfect sense when the heel believes that he's right and
He's
he's
right. Just yep.
validated because of the things that he's happened to him and getting screwed over so many times. That is what makes people get on your side. And even though you're obviously the bad guy in the piece,
Mhm.
that we understand why. If somebody who wronged us, we had a chance to punch him in the face, we punch him in the face. But and so, like I said, he uses social media presence. He's been 100% believable, and he's delivered it in the ring. Hell in Cell being the perfect example, and just had, like Sheamus says, banger after banger with Punk, with Cody, with Sheamus. Um, he's done nothing but bring the heat all the way this whole years, and anytime he's been in the ring, it's been fun to watch. His matches with Seth, his just
Mhm.
everything has been on point, and Drew's I think carried this year with the things he's done, and he's been must see in anything he does. So Drew gets my wrestler of the year.
I'm gonna go Gunther, like you said, for all the reasons you just said, pretty much because consistency. I mean, record breaking IC title run, and always showing up, always pointing out. Loses to
Yep.
Sami Zayn graciously, and then moves right into the world title picture, and gets a heavyweight title, and just looks legit carrying it.
Yep.
And the stuff with Damien, yeah, like he put on the clinic and in some promos right there, and we always knew he had it. So now it's just like everybody's seen it, and just I mean, he just looks like he's doing everything the right way,
Yeah.
and now it's like, what's next for him? Like that's going to be the crazy stop part. Like when he loses, how can where can you elevate him next? So um, it's all about Gunther for me. But Drew, I mean, Drew deserves all the flowers. And even he went away for a couple months, Greg, and had to take care of some stuff, but was still, on the
Mhm.
back of our minds.
Yeah.
So I think that takes a lot. But Cody's doing Cody things. Kevin Owens might be in the running there too, just for what he's been doing.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, there's the top. They're very top heavy, like we said,
Mhm.
and we'll get to see in person, Greg. Owens and Cody put on a ladder match and see how that goes at Royal Rumble. That's going to be crazy to see. Both titles hanging from the little scaffolding thing or the little triangle thing they have up. But we are just a month away. I cannot wait for Royal Rumble but we got to get through January 6th first. See the Netflix debut. Here and there
Mhm.
will be commercials, which is kind of dumb, but why go to? But business is business, Greg. So I guess you gotta you gotta do that. So yeah, I'm very interested to see what unfolds that night because they got the big matches scheduled and see what other little surprises they could throw our way. Anything else for the good of the matter? to close out this year of 2024 for WWE, Greg.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on Kevin Owens because I'm glad they're giving him the ball for a while.
Yeah.
Because anytime he gets to just unleash and be Kevin Owens, it's a joy to watch. And he's been in the Drew school of I'm right and this is why, even though I'm the obvious bad guy here. And
Yeah.
when he spells out the reasons why, you know, why I'm the bad guy now, pointing at Cody and you did this and that and this, and everybody's like, yeah, he's right, and you
Yep.
see it, and you can feel it, and it's coming through, and just everything he's doing has been
Mm-hmm.
just masterclass. That interview with Michael Cole in the car, I'm still laughing about it when I think about it. Um, Coming out and cutting a promo on. Um, Cody from the stands with his tuxedo T-shirt on.
Yep.
It's just classic Kevin, and he's being the 100% heel in here, but he's still being
But he
a
thinks he's
lovable
right.
heel. Kevin is right. I'm on board with Kevin. Kevin is
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
I am loving what he is doing, and um, the great way to reintroduce the pile driver. Uh, Now, hopefully, it's not putting everybody on the shelf for 3 months or whatever. But if you're gonna bring it back in style, and that's what they're doing. I don't think they're going to see overuse of pile drivers, but
Yeah.
you know, pile drivers are back, and I think once um, Kevin gets stuck with one and what's good for the goose kind of thing, that you're going to be off and running and seeing pile drivers in matches next year. But great way to reintroduce it. Um, But
Yeah.
shout out to Kevin, and I'll give Cody credit for being the foil in this, because they've got a great back and forth going on. But you got to give some love to Kevin. Give flowers for you, Kevin. Love you, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So and they're giving like the everyman, because we always call Kevin as the everyman. You
Exactly.
know, giving him a big spotlight and letting him go, and he's been amazing. So I had to give some props to KO. Um, and So of course I got to shout out my Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Great way to get out there and get it done. You know, don't let other teams be the ones that push you over the finish line. You go and you run that race, and
Yep.
they just road runner the Patriots just straight out the building. No problem. Take care of business, and now we're in cruising. Beating uh, two in a row, about to beat three next week, and cruising into the playoffs. So shout out to my guys, Jim Harbaugh. Who got it better than us? Nobody.
There you go.
Gotta love it.
Uh,
Oh yeah, man. I like it.
what a year it's been for WWE, and to think next year could be even bigger. Um, yeah, we're ready. So, John, because it's all going to be what John Cena's show, Greg. All
True.
the last matches that he's going to have. There's already talk about who could be his final WrestleMania opponent. I'm sure we'll see him. I'm sure we'll see him in the Rumble match, and maybe that could kick off what will lead to his WrestleMania match. He's going to be on Elimination Chamber. Vegas is going to be the site of WrestleMania, so they're going to do it big there. We got Royal
Yep.
Rumble here in Indianapolis. You
We're
got,
gonna be
I think,
there in the
I
building.
know, in live and in person in living color. We can't wait. I think Backlash will be in Mexico as they're talking up, so we'll be international flavor again. So I just think Netflix. I think next year could be even bigger year for WWE. Like it's like this year felt huge, Greg. So who
Yeah.
knows what next year could be? Especially like I said, with I think it's going to be very interesting to see the send off for John Cena because he's talking up, full time run, Greg. So this time next year we'll be seeing the end of his run, which it's very interesting to think, like that he'll be gone. Like,
Yeah.
our wrestling wise, I'm sure he'll
Right.
be like Taker and hey, we'll knock on emergency John Cena glass. They got the Batman phone to him, the red phone to him. So,
Right.
but yeah, my brother who's 28, he's a huge John Cena fan. When we met him, he got a little teary eyed, Craig. So I can only imagine what this next year will be for him, just because, like I said, he's that age that grew up with John Cena.
Right.
So it's like, and because I feel like with us, the like Stone Cold was done, and there wasn't a lot of pomp and circumstance to it. The Rock was done in a way. Edge's retirement was huge because he was leaving with a broken neck and all that. So I feel like this is like a sports. This is like Mariano Rivera getting his. This is my last year. Like baseball players have done lately. Greg.
Yeah.
They announced their tour. Or Tim Duncan, I think he announced his was going to be the final. So
Yeah.
it's going to be the end of an era for John. Because that's kind of the last of that era. I guess we got Orton still. Orton will last till the wheels go off, right, Greg? So,
Pretty much. Yeah.
but you think of that class. Batista's done. The other guy's probably done. Brock Lesnar. You got Orton still going, but John Cena was the the torchbearer for that group, Greg. But still, what a class that was. The O2 they call it. OVW O2. But I just can't believe this time next year we'll be wishing well to John Cena what he does next. So it's going to be quite the year for him. So, and then like we said, maybe giving more emphasis on tag team wrestling and the women's side of things. Maybe not necessarily like we said, we've started to see the evolution from the four horsewomen into an overall group of women trying to carry the load. So, see how Jay does. I think there's going to be a big mania event for her. So,
Bianca, I'm still
Bianca,
saying
I
it.
know, it's either her or Naomi. People are throwing Charlotte out there, but that's too easy dependent on Charlotte, right? So you gotta.
Yeah.
I think Triple H would rather think outside the box a little bit. And I think Bianca needs a change of pace, but so does. I mean, maybe you could have Bianca and Naomi in cahoots because it's got them both as tag team champs now, Craig.
True.
So, maybe it was a tag team effort. So yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting storyline to watch, and to see where Kevin Owens can go. Does he win the title? Give a small run to him, but there's plenty of meat on the bone, to steal a phrase from somebody that I know well, Greg. So I am excited for what 2025 can bring. And of course, we want to thank all of our lovely listeners for another great year. We'll keep churning out the content, as they say, as we can. And looking forward to seeing Greg in person here in a month.
Yes,
And
sir.
see
Can't
what we can
wait.
do live. There's already a convention in town that I'll have to tell you about off air, and we'll get to that. And I got to head off here to see if I need to head to the airport to pick up a friend and kind of get that going. But thank you for watching. Thanks for another year, and enjoy the year.
Peace. What's up, baby?